But don't confuse this with a sports car. Don't confuse this with, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're in a 2019 Subaru WRX Limited. But this is not any regular WRX. This car is on a flex fuel kit. So we got the COBB EVCS, COBB Flex Fuel, and on E50, it puts out 400 wheel horsepower on a cool day. But again, you can go from 0 to 60% ethanol on this tune. We have DGR Coils with stock 8K springs, Advan RS-DF 18x10 plus 40 offset wrapped in extreme contact sport tires, Mishimoto cold air intake, COBB catted DP, COBB catted downpipe, Invidia Q300 exhaust and midpipe, and you can see the full list of modifications down in the description as always. Now with that being said, let's see how this bad boy drives. So first off, this car behaves very turbocharged. You have lag with the build, very squeaky brakes. But the turbo lag and the rush of power, obviously it's not ideal for mid-corner throttle modulation. But I mean, this car is putting down a lot of power, and it's at least a fun gimmick, if nothing else. Steering in this car, decently accurate, but the feedback is really, really lacking. And on corner exit, if I'm mashing the throttle in, I get a decent amount of torque steer, which further numbs out anything coming from the steering wheel. Yep, just like that. Decent amount of torque steer, which is expected with any all-wheel drive or obviously front-wheel drive car. Heel towing is not as easy as I would like. I feel like part of it is because I'm just sliding around all over this seat. And these pedals, I guess, are kind of slippery to me right now. The rush of power right around, what was that, 5,000 RPM? It's actually pretty close to redline, so you don't get much of the good stuff before you have to shift, at least from first gear. You'll notice that between shifts, if you're mashing the throttle, the turbo needs to spool up again. You get this kind of jerky acceleration behavior where it doesn't stay spooled up. You need to kind of reset each time. So you're going zoom and then slow and then zoom again. Suspension is a little bit over damped, getting a lot of it's pretty bouncy. Yeah, definitely pretty bouncy, and getting a little bit of it's getting unsettled on some of these mid-corner bumps. Now the car weighs 3,340 pounds, and it feels its weight. It doesn't feel very lightweight and nimble. Part of that is because the car is pretty large. Part of that is actually the drivetrain. When you have an all-wheel drive setup, the car doesn't feel as nimble because you can't really dance with the throttle. You can't throttle steer a car like this. Overall, the inputs are clearly not that of a sports car. You know, the transmission has a decent amount of lateral slop. Getting into each gear is not as positive as I would like. This is not trying to be a sports car. This is a cool, fun, practical daily that can be very entertaining with all the power. But if you want driver engagement, if you want that dynamic chassis balance, if you want that rewarding 7/10, 8/10 driving behavior, this is not the car for you. If you want a fun, fast, practical daily, then this is your answer. But none of these inputs are really dialed in for a sports car. The steering is completely lacking in feedback, and while it's, you know, average precision, it's not super precise, but it's also not sloppy. It doesn't really inspire confidence when you're driving it closer to the limit. The transmission as well, it's not its strong suit, right? The pedal box is kind of difficult for me to heel toe in this, more difficult than I would like. And even still, the inputs are not very precise. Like, the throttle is not very precise. Part of that is because it's drive-by-wire, and the other part of it is that it's wrong, this car is very capable. The way it puts power down. Even the way it can corner for such a large car is pretty good. But don't confuse this with a sports car. Don't confuse this with driver engagement. Yeah, this is really overdamped. Getting some skipping. Yeah, the throttle steer on corner exit, I'm like wrestling with the steering wheel. You've gotta love the spoolie boy noises. Even if you're not one to hit the vape, this car has a lot of charm to it. It makes sense why these cars are popular, but if I'm being honest, it's just not my cup of tea. I would rather have a dedicated sports car and something that's a little bit more comfortable and practical. But if you want a one-car solution and you really need something that's very practical, something that's large, 4 doors, big trunk, you can go in the snow, all that stuff, then yeah, this car is very popular for a reason. But don't get confused in thinking that this is a sports car or a driver engagement focused car, because it's really not. I mean, everything from the car, from the seating position to the inputs, is a fast, capable car. But if you're looking to get your kicks, you know, driving on canyon roads, I would say this might not be the car for you. But what do you guys think? Maybe I am completely misunderstanding what the WRX is all about. Leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you guys in that next one.